Thank you, Acting Deputy President. Well, I've been listening to the debate so far, and I have to speak about what is the reality of the world in North Queensland. I agree with everything that previous senators have said about the risks of vaping, but I don't think there is a genuine understanding that it is only about 7 or 8% of vapes that are legally supplied. The rest of them are illegally supplied, not by big tobacco, but by illegal factories in China, importing them into Australia with no oversight, with massive biosecurity risks, with illegal shops setting up right around the country that have been run by crime lords, bikie gangs, and we are feeding an illegal industry of criminals. And we are doing that because we are not properly funding police. In North Queensland, they can tell me. They can tell me where there is illegal activities, but they have no funding and it is not prioritised. It is not prioritised in the tasks of the things that they need to deal with, particularly in the crime wave, the youth crime problems that we have in North Queensland. So every time somebody says that we have to do something about vapes, I completely agree. But the government is doubling down on failed legislation. This is well outside the hands of putting it into to sell into unwilling participants of pharmacies. We're now expecting them to police vapes in Queensland, contrary to the legislation and the deal that's been done between Labor and the Greens. Section 3 drugs have to be. The buyer has to provide their licence and their name and their address. That's Queensland law. That is in direct contravention to what I understand the Greens were trying to achieve with that deal. But what is the point of trying to say that pharmacies have to sell a product that is in the vast majority being sold illegally by products that are not manufactured in any sort of licensed arrangements? It could be full of fentanyl. Who would know what's going into them? But licensing them through, selling them through a pharmacy is not going to solve the illegal drug trade, or the legal vape trade. It just won't even put a dent in them. So wherever I go, whether it's here in Parliament House, down the street, in North Queensland, you can be guaranteed that most of the vapes you see have not been provided legally. They've certainly not been manufactured legally. And yet, what the government's going to do is double down on failed legislation, on a failed prescription model. And what are the druggies going to do? What are the crime lords going to do? What are the bikie gangs going to do? Well, they're going to continue their business as usual, because this legislation doesn't allow for more funding to support them, certainly doesn't provide any more funding for the hospitals to treat this illegal activity. Now, we're going to keep pretending that prohibition works and that the prescription model works, and it does not. I have carefully shepherded my 3 children through to adulthood not to be smokers. As an ex-smoker myself, it was something that was important to me. I didn't want them to go through the quitting process that I had to. But guess what? As adults, they've all started vaping, because that's what everybody's doing. It's okay to do it. You can do it at a restaurant. You can do it everywhere. So I'm appealing to the government, stop this ridiculous process of thinking that you can double down on a failed policy, because prescription does not work. If you ask anybody you see later tonight or tomorrow whether or not they got their vape with a script or not, don't be surprised at the answer. Most of them. We know the data. The vast majority, less than 10% of the vapes that we see people using is with a script. And the rest of it goes to drug lords and takes money not just from our kids, but from our young adults, from all of those people who say things to me like, Yeah, we had a vape the other day. I couldn't feel my feet afterwards. I mean, this is what we are knowingly allowing to happen. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept, and we are walking past 92, 93% of illegal vapes on the street with no idea what's in it. And for those people who'd like to think that big tobacco's manufacturing them, well, that is in your wildest fantasy, because they are coming out of factories that are not legal, that are not managed, that we have no idea what's going into these things. So I don't want to labour the point, but what is going on is outrageous, because we're going to pass legislation, thanks to Labor and the Greens getting together, which will not address the illegal activities, which will not protect our children, and which will see illegal vape shops continuing to flourish right around the country, and we're funding drug lords, bikie gangs, and making our kids sick because we are too lazy to do the real work, which is funding police and cracking down on crime. That's all I have to add to this. Thank you.